the concept, and Colin, I don't know if you have that image of the Board of Peace, which now includes the very peaceful state of Israel.
Well, I had sent, that was my thing, and I had sent Colin something about Board of Peace.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which story you're wanting to address.
Well, I think this is a great place to start then, because this is Trump's supposed peace speech. Again, Board of Peace, that apparently went down just a little while ago. Again, the war games are not a game. That's the thing that people need to understand. I have a feeling, as you probably do as well, that Iran is at the point where they're looking for a reason.
I think they're just so fed up that they're not going to take it anymore, but they would rather not be dealing with this.
Can I also say
they also know, oh, that's correct. Ramadan Kareem for my friends out there that are celebrating. I'm glad, hopefully you're somewhere where you're able to eat at this point in the day. Hopefully you're somewhere where you are sundown. Shame on me.
Can we just address one thing before we bring up the Trump clip? Can we address the fact that these Zio scum motherfuckers are the worst people alive? Because do you really think it's coincidental that they're doing this right now during Ramadan? Of course they're doing it right now. Because
they do every Ramadan. Seriously, if you go back and look, so many of these things purposefully take place during Ramadan. Mm-hmm. This isn't the first time that they've done that.
Well, listen, I have some really important things to say, so let's hear what I have to say now.
I want to let you know that the United States is going to make a contribution of $10 billion to the Board of Peace.
With a B.
Thank you. And we've had great support for that number. And that number is a very small number when you look at that compared to the cost of war. That's 2 weeks of fighting.
Everything is transactional to this asshole. Everything is transactional. Everything is a business thing. And he's not even good at business. But, and just as a point of reference, whenever people, and there are a lot of people over the years who always thought that what we need is a president who runs a good business, someone who knows how to run a business. No, that's not what we need. The government is not a business. It's not a for-profit situation. It's not there for that. So, but no, this guy just really thinks that this is just like another deal.
Yeah, well, that's how he's looked at his entire life. Everything is about a proposition. Remember, he only ended up running for president because he saw an opportunity. He had been flirting with the prospect of running for president since 1988. It's not like this guy hadn't had an idea in his head that eventually he would go for something of this magnitude, but he saw an opening, he took it, and the country is in almost, shambles at this point. And now they've got this job report that just came out today suggesting that things are not so bad. Again, what are you measuring the jobs in? Are you measuring jobs in, let's say, the tech sector, which is directly correlated to the military-industrial complex? If that's what you're measuring it against, then yes, things are going just fine. But to the country at large, no, it's not. And when he's the $10 billion, we're giving $10 billion to the Board of Peace. Let me ask you this. Why would the Board of Peace, which is a government program, fiscal conservatives calling you out, what is the point of this? Why does the Board of Peace need $10 billion?
You understand that they're just stealing this money, right?
Sure, of course.
Okay. So all of this that is supposedly going to rebuild Gaza, right? That's never going to happen. Like I've said, that's not going to happen. So then the question is, well, where does the money go? Right. So, and keep in mind, we'll talk about the type of which nations are actually participating. It's just ones that we basically have their arms twisted behind their back and are asked, we're the bully of the lunch. We're demanding people's lunch money.
Yeah.
Give me all your money.
That we give them. Right. So, yeah.
It's a very small number. It sounds like a lot, but it's a very small number. So we're committed to $10 billion. Together we can achieve the dream of bringing lasting harmony to a region tortured by centuries of war.
And the successful implementation of the second phase of the Gaza peace plan.
There he
This
is
includes
sleeping.
ensuring a lasting ceasefire.
Look at him. The irony of how much he made fun of Sleepy Joe. The irony of how much he did. He has fallen asleep way more than Joe Biden ever fell asleep.
Well, hold on a minute. I would not go there. What I would say is that he's a hypocrite, which of course he is. But in terms of whether or not he has more sleeping tendencies in press conferences,
I've seen more clips of him sleeping. I have not seen clips of Joe Biden sleeping in the Oval Office surrounded by people talking.
well, that's also because you rarely ever saw him being videoed, on
No,
video.
there is that. There is that. So they were smart enough to keep him off camera during.
Yeah,
those.
whereas I don't think people really. This is the thing. So many of the people that Trump has brought in, particularly in this particular administration,
Wait, go away.
are people that are not going to be in government after this administration is out. The people that typically show up in government in administrations like Joe Biden, those are political lifers. Those are people that are on Capitol Hill their entire life. So they're going to do everything in their capacity to make sure that the president is seen in the most positive light possible. Whereas with Trump, they don't care. They're just in it for the payday. And in many instances, they're going to get paid very well. Now, how they're going to sell it going forward, Jen, is
Okay, Cosmic Crust. Now
you're a lib.
Yeah, too liberal
That's
for you. I guess I'm not sure what that means, but the thing is, for you to what? You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't asking you over, I wasn't asking you out. Like, I'm too liberal for you. We're not like, we don't need to be courting. So you could just sit and.
Or you could ask him, what is it that is so liberal about you that he doesn't
Well,
like?
I just think it's funny. Also, that, and I'm not gonna. It's hard for me as an editor not to point out that you mean TOO and not TO liberal. But
Well, there's a lot of look. I have sympathy for anybody who had to go through the public school system in the United States, especially in the last 30 years. It is what it is. Look, when it comes to politics, you should judge people based on individual. Jeez Louise. What do you know, Travers?
thank you, Travers. Thank you, Travers. Travers is defending my honor.
Well, the next idea, 1789, he gets it. Liberal or revolutionary?
Well, here's the thing. So to people that are on the right, they see me as liberal, but they think that the Democrats are liberal. Like, they think we're all the same. They don't really have a distinguish, but
I keep insisting that there has to be a distinction with a difference when you're talking about different segments of a given political ideology. Now, if you want to say when it comes to woke politics, and yes, I use the word woke because the intention behind woke politics is not to actually create sustainable change for people that desperately need it. It's about virtue signaling. It's about not actually creating economic, financial, social, legitimate infrastructure that people actually need. So, for example, as I always like to point out, especially when it comes to the trans issue, we have a friend who was a very integral part of Jen's 2 congressional runs. And this person has made it abundantly clear that she absolutely despises the woke trans movement because all that does is hurt people like that person. And again, I'm not going to say who it is. I'm just going to tell you on good authority that this is somebody who's been trans for 20 years. So there has to be a distinctional difference when it comes to.
Her whole adult life for the most part.
And when you use people as political props, when you use children, for example, as props, which a lot of people, especially celebrities, have done, we see what that does. We see how, the education system is just completely lopsided and broken. And so as a result, all things are upside down and inside out. And the one thing that we've learned, and there you go, friend of the show, and also dealing with a similar problem. And this is the whole thing.
Thank you for sharing.
This is the whole thing about when, this is sort of like a universal identification on this channel where pretty much everybody agrees with this.
Because we're about actually doing things, not just rhetoric. And the reason that there is all that overwoke rhetoric is because really both sides use it against the other, and it doesn't benefit the trans community. Nothing that, I assure you, that nothing that the Democrats are fighting for is something that's going to really benefit that community. They just play the resistance to the mean Republicans that just hate the LGBTQIAs.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Friend of the show, James Lee, set off a firestorm the other day because he did something that I absolutely appreciate that he did. And I'm going to address it on Saturday. He went after Aaron Parnas, and he ended up catching a lot of flack because there are people saying, I love Aaron. I think he's great. I think he does this, that, and the other thing. And I keep thinking to myself, do these people not understand what an absolute scumbag Zionazi this guy is? Like, do they not know this? But because he's part of the shit lib crowd and they like the virtue signaling things that he does. By the way, I don't even know who the hell his father is, and the fact that his father was in Trump's inner circle for a very long time. This is the type of stuff where we are not, and maybe this is, again, this may be to the detriment of our channel and why we're not, pulling 3,000 live viewers at a time. We're not into the clickbaity type politics. Anytime we address somebody, we have people like Travers who are our people.
We're talking about Transformers.
Yeah.